Cyber briefing for Friday, the 22nd of September. Yeah, it's Friday. Looking forward to a weekend of, well, probably doing more cyber stuff, but there we go. Nice straightforward one today. Doesn't look like very much has happened overnight in the InfoSec world. However, Apple has rushed out patches to 3 zero-day flaws, and these, as with a lot of things Apple, there's a lot of common code in the background. So if you're using anything on iOS, iPadOS, macOS, or watchOS, or you use Safari, it is worth having a look at these. So the vulnerabilities are CVE 2023 41991, 41992, and 41993. So 41991, a certificate validation issue in the security framework that could allow a malicious app to bypass signature validation. 992 is a security flaw in the kernel that could allow a local attacker to elevate privileges, and 993 is a WebKit flaw that could result in arbitrary code execution when processing specifically crafted web content. Apple, as always, haven't released a great deal of information about these, other than to say that they have some evidence that these may be actively being exploited. So if you are using iOS or iPadOS on and you're on iOS 16, iOS 16.7 is now available, and would recommend you upgrade to that. If you're on iOS 17, 17.0.1 is available. So just as a reminder, iOS 16 will run on iPhone 8 and later, and iOS 17 will run on an iPhone XS and later. macOS Monterey aim for version 12.7, macOS Ventura 13.6, watchOS either 9.6.3 or 10.0.1, and Safari 16.6.1 is what you should be aiming for. So Apple have been very busy over the last few weeks. There have been some other vulnerabilities, so do make sure you keep on top of patching. So yes, there is still some truth in the fact that there's less malware out there for Apple devices than for, say, Windows devices, but there's still plenty around, and the rate at which this stuff is shared has greatly increased, so keep on top of it. T-Mobile has had another. T-Mobile's been in the not that recently, but T-Mobile has over the years had its fair share of challenging situations. One of them at the moment is that T-Mobile customers, especially these are reports coming out of the States, but T-Mobile customers are saying that when they log into their accounts, they're able to see other users' account data, including things like credit balance, purchase histories, credit card information, home addresses, and so on and so forth. T-Mobile have responded saying it isn't a cyber attack, it's actually a, as they put it, glitch from a technology update. Yes, T-Mobile, some glitch. So they have gone back and they have fixed it. They are arguing that the update only affected about 100 customers, but that is not what is being talked about, broadly talked about on the internet at the moment. Apparently, it may be that there were far more data that became available as part of this. So if you are a T-Mobile customer. Yes, what can you do if this stuff has leaked? I suppose at the very least, go through the usual round of making sure that you've got access to your account, that the data in your account is right. Make sure then that possibly change your credentials, change your password, or whatever it might be. Although if they've screwed it up in the back end, there's not much that you can do about that. Again, this is a situation where you are in the hands of your suppliers, and we've talked a lot about that recently. So I don't want to go back over stuff we've already been over. Also, if you've got stored credit card details or card details with T-Mobile, just keep an eye, make sure that there are no unusual transactions going through, things that you're not expecting, because it is possible that somebody else has been able to see details of your card, etc. through that. So yeah, that's that one. And then finally from me today, nice quick one. Cisco. I've got right. Okay, let's preface this with we don't normally on these briefings talk much about specific vendors of information security or cybersecurity tooling. Mainly not because it's you're only here because that we're in that security company. We are at least a vendor of services and consultancy and so on. Blah blah blah. Enough plugging of my own stuff. But it's not that we don't talk about others because of any reason other than it's generally pretty boring stuff. Movements in CIO of one company is now in another company, or this particular company has raised millions in rounds. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Funding. So this one, though, I think actually is worth bringing to people's attention. Cisco is moving into the SIEM market by buying Splunk for allegedly $28 billion. That's, I think, fascinating. I'm going to start by saying that the rumors that Cisco have decided to buy Splunk is because it was cheaper than paying for next year's renewal is probably true. No, so fine. Yes, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Cisco has got a large security portfolio, and in parts of my life, in the slightly more distant past, if you cut me in half, it would have said Cisco through the middle. That is definitely not the case anymore. I think they provide very good tooling. I think my experience with Cisco and security tooling is mixed. I have committed in the past to very significant rollouts of security tooling owned by Cisco, only to find that within a year, 18 months, they'd actually pulled the plug on the whole thing. Now, I really doubt that they're going to pull the plug on Splunk. It's too big. But it's in the back of my mind that Cisco buy technologies. They often do, in my opinion, a half-assed job of integrating them into the Cisco world. If they continue to make money, they invest in making them better. If they don't, they just allow them to run off and die. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It certainly, Cisco thinks, and it's allegedly a cash buyout as well, not a cash and equity kind of thing. So it does give, I think, some opportunities perhaps for Splunk to get access to development money, but I suspect Splunk could have done this anyway. So could have certainly raised that sort of investment anyway. It's large enough in their own right to not need to not need sort of major investments in order to develop their tooling. It comes off the back of other, there have been other purchases in this sort of uh, areas over the last few years. Some of which are better known than others, but it doesn't. In the end, will this be a good thing or a bad thing? Hard to say. Is it likely to affect Splunk customers? Unlikely in the short term, I would have thought. In the long term, who knows? As I say, Cisco's reputation in this space is not brilliant. But I don't know. I guess there are some people at Splunk who are now an awful lot richer, or will be when it's all approved and goes through, an awful lot richer. So there you are. If you're worrying about the costs of your software renewals in security tooling, look into whether it might be cheaper to buy the company rather than pay for the renewal. And on that cheery note, I'm going to call it a day. I hope you have a great Friday, good end to the week. I will hope you have relaxing weekends, and I will speak to you again on Monday morning.